Hi Jeff, how you doing?
How are you?
No, I'm good. I'm good.
I like your background.
So it's with a great pleasure I get to welcome this week's guest, Jeff Davis. Jeff, how are you?
I'm absolutely fantastic. Thank you very much, Callum, and I feel very honoured to be here.
Yes, our first guest. It will be, and I've got quite a story for you today. So you're currently representing the Middlesex Seniors. You're a lifelong fan and player. Just tell us a little bit about growing up with cricket and some of your earliest memories of the game.
Okay, well, my first memory of the game was when I was 5. My grandfather, who I call my papa, he took me to Lord's to watch the youngsters in their net. There wasn't an indoor school back then. It was literally concrete nets along the side of the nursery ground. And he took me there to watch them practicing in their nets. And I fell in love with the game. I actually got hit by the cricket ball on my ankle from one of the lads that drove the ball back. It hurt. I can still remember the pain. But I fell in love with the game and with Lords at that time. And from there, I played cricket at school. And in fact, when I was 8, I was spotted in the playground by one of the staff, and I played for the staff against the school side. Obviously, they were 11, I was 8, and I was playing for the staff, which was fantastic. They spotted me bowling at the time.
That's it. Yeah, always bring those bowlers in. Always recruit a few bowlers, get a few overs out of you. And then send you back, you know.
I'm going to say that my first experience of playing a proper game of cricket was playing for the school staff against the kids.
That's fantastic. What year was that?
Oh, let's go back a long time. 65, I think. You might make it, something like that. Yeah,
that's fantastic. Who would have been some of the eminent players then?
Oh, now you're asking. Well, my hero back then was Freddie Truman. So I suppose that was my love for cricket was through him more than anything else.
Fantastic. And so as you sort of progressed your cricketing career, you now also represent the Mighty Stage Cricket Club and have done for a long time, I believe. I mean, how's that been for you?
Yeah, I've been there for 37 years now. I'm not an actor, although I do play for the club. They predominantly want actors or affiliates to the trade, but the way I got into the club was that the club captain at the time I went to school with, and he knew I could play midweeks, and that was the time they were struggling to get players. And he phoned me up and he said, "Jeff, come and play for the stage, and you'll get the chance to play at Lord's." Well, that was quite an enticement for me, really.
Done.
And I was in like a shot, yeah, and I've been a member there ever since, and I'm now currently, and have been for probably about the last between 10 to 15 years, the fixture secretary. So very much.
And just for our viewers watching, Stage Cricket Club is a very special club comprised of, I suppose, a lot of the performing arts. And have I missed anyone there, Jeff?
Well, there's in the past there've been a lot of famous actors that have played for the club when it was originally formed. You had the likes of Errol Flynn, that sort of scenario, playing for the club, and then over the years we had Bill Franklin. The you know who man for the older people that are watching this. Sam Kidd, who appeared in more British or English films than anyone else, and in fact his son Jonathan Kidd still plays for the club. Wow. And currently our chairman is Charles Collingwood for the Archers fans. He is Brian Aldridge. We've had the man from Del Monte, Brian Jackson, very distinguished. And he's now, I won't say his age, but he's 90. 90. But he was playing up till about 3 years ago. So, yeah, some good names in the club.
That's amazing. And it's yourself, yeah, of course. And it's an amazing history, you know, for a club, and I think it's something that any of those performing arts individuals watching out there, you know, you're always open for new members, aren't you? And
always looking. Yeah.
No, fantastic. Right, enough about that, Jeff. Onto the nuts and bolts of it. So today we're going to talk about a key topic of mine, which is around getting some recognition to those people that build the cricket infrastructure, that allow the operations of cricket to run, and for those fans of us to turn up to grounds and have a really good day out. So really, today we're going to talk a little about stewarding, and it's often overlooked by the average customer that comes through the door. I know you've got a lot of experience in this area. And so really, I mean, what are some of the rewards of stewarding for you? How did you get into it?
Well, having played at Lord's on the nursery ground floor stage for many years, I always wanted to work there. I always wanted to play for the Cross Arrows, who we also played against. But back in the day, you had to be ground staff or young professionals to play for the Cross Arrows. Eventually, I saw an advert back in 2012 on Facebook looking for stewards for Lords, for the MCC. And I thought, well, can't do any harm. My work allows me the flexibility to do that. So I applied. And lo and behold, although I was late because I got on a traffic jam on the way to the ground, I managed to stall the interview until I got there, and I got the job, and have been there every season since, apart from obviously last season because of the COVID when the ground was shut. And it has been a fantastic experience. And I've stewarded on match days in pretty much every part of the ground, in major matches, test matches, one-day internationals, finals, and also the county game. And from that, I also steward the tours, which is another section that nobody really sees unless they come and visit Lords to go on a tour. So the fans don't see that one at all, really, unless they're paid for the pleasure. And that's been a great experience as well. I absolutely love it.
I imagine you've learned quite a bit. I know that it's a phenomenal museum down there, and the tours around the grounds are, obviously steeped in history.
Yeah. And you meet a heck of a lot of nice people. I know most of the staff in the ground now, having worked there that long. All a nice bunch, and got to know quite a lot of the fans as well on match days, which has also been great. So yeah,
that's good. Yeah. So the next time you're walking through Lords, if you see Jeff, make sure you give him a wave. We know you'll wave back, so that's good.
Yeah.
So what sort of people have you met on your journey of being a steward? I mean, I guess having been at all those different major match days and county games and through the museum, you must have met a phenomenal range of people from not only within cricket, but also outside of cricket.
Yes, yeah, without a doubt. I have the pleasure of mostly on major match days of working on the grandstand box level, which is looking at, and I work at the centre of it. It took me a while to get to that position, but probably the last 5 or 6 years, the centre place of the grandstand boxes, which is looking after the president's box and the MCC chairman box. And so you get to meet all the guests that come in there. So lots of ex-players, lots of current players. There's no one I could say that really, really stands out, but I've met pretty much all of them. There's a certain person, I won't mention his name, but he very often doesn't want to talk. So he walks past you, he's on the phone. I'm not going to mention his name. You just know he doesn't want to talk. But most players there will have a chat, ex-players. I've met ex-prime ministers. It's been a real pleasure to work there. I absolutely love it. And it has led to what was my biggest dream, I have to say. And that was to play on the main ground at Lords. It was having played there for the last 37 years, every year pretty much, until they've started doing the new stands. There's no games going on there at the moment. I've wanted to play on the main ground rather than the nursery ground, and I never thought it would happen. But what does happen every round about 4 or 5 years, the CEO of the MCC in the ground moves on, and they have a commemorative game on the main ground for the Cross Arrows, against the Cross Arrows President's 11. And having worked there, I do now play for the Cross Arrows. But getting selected for the Cross Arrows would be a tough one. I think everybody wants to play for it. But I had the pleasure, because I worked in the grandstand boxes, of getting to know Derek Brewer, who was the CEO at the time. And every time he would walk past me, and I mean every time he walked past me, I would say, "Hello, Mr. Brewer," shake his hand and ask him, "Have you picked your side yet?" And eventually I got a letter from the MCC saying that I'd been picked for the President's 11. And then when he made an announcement at the changing rooms when we were getting changed, he gave his little speech, and he looked at me and he said, "It just shows you it is worth nagging." And there you go. I got my game on the main ground, which was an absolute dream come true. I walked through the pavilion, the long room in my whites, and there were half a dozen people from the museum where I work standing there clapping. I mean, just absolutely fantastic. So there's a lot of dreams there. You meet a lot of nice people. And I'm going to tell you a couple of stories, if that's okay with you, Callum. Coming from the tours, 3 years ago, I think it is now, I met a couple on the tour. They came from Australia. They come from Australia. Their name is Kate and Brad. And I got talking to them, and I was at the back end because I'm the sheepdog of the tour. And just to sort of hit it off with them as we're going around the tour, and we got round to the stand and the open, and I was talking to Kate, and she was telling me how that Brad had just been diagnosed with muscular dystrophy. I know, a lovely guy, plays cricket for a team called Lafarge out in Australia, and we got taken, and I knew we were one player short for the following day, for the Sunday. And I said, "Look, what are you doing tomorrow?" And she said, "Well, we've got nothing actually planned apart from a bit of sightseeing in London." I said, "Look, would Brad like to play a game of cricket? Don't worry about the whites, we can sort out all of that." And she said, "I know he'll love it." And they made their way. We were playing at a side called Merstham in Quality Street. It's their ground. They made their way there. It's a lovely little country ground. And he played, and he only got 24 runs. It was sort of made their holiday. They've become fantastic friends. We have Zoom chats with them every now and again. And I'm hoping that will create, well, I'm sure it will. We'll get out there once this pandemic's over and done with, and I'll go and play a game for Lafarge out there, and I'll have played a game of cricket in Australia, which is another one of those dreams that I want to do. And another one that's come from, go on.
Little bounce for you out there. I've been lucky enough to do both, Jeff. I've been lucky enough to play in Australia. So,
and another thing that's also come from the tours was not last winter, the winter prior. I met a guy from Russia who was there with his wife and his little daughter Sophia. He knew nothing about cricket. He was just talking to me at the back end of the tour, and we had a lovely chat and whatever. And we've become WhatsApp pen pals. He is so now into cricket, it is incredible. He spots it all on the what must be the BBC site or Wikipedia, and he sends me bits on it, and I have to let him know a bit more information on it. He's become a follower of cricket, and he says that he wants to see me when he comes over here next time. So just great friends out of cricket. It's fantastic.
Yeah, and I think that fits really nicely with some of our other videos as well that we've got today, which is around the family feel of cricket and the fact that a small bit of understanding creates quite a lot of curiosity about the game. It's just getting over that initial hurdle. I think most of our viewers, especially if you're new to cricket, you might find that you just quite enjoy it and start wanting to know more and more about the game. And it's amazing. And it's a true testament to yourself as well, Jeff, of being a very jovial guy that will have a chat with everybody. But also, I think it does show cricket's values are much wider than just the game itself, and something that really we're looking to promote. I mean, what sort of advice would you have to there's a lot of people that have been locked up for a long time, and there's a lot of people that want work or want to get out there or do something. I mean, what kind of advice would you have for a young steward or for someone that wants to get into stewarding? Bear in mind that it is a great way to meet lots of different people. And also I know firsthand that there are a lot of first class counties and national county clubs and women's franchises that would really value some volunteer stewards.
Yeah, just get in touch with the local clubs, the local grounds that require stewards, and just apply. They are, I'm sure, crying out all around the country for stewards to help them out. It's not. I'm not going to say it's easy. It's hard work. They're long days. They are long days. The very first day I did at Lord's, I had to rack up at 6 or 6:30 in the morning, and not home until gone 8 at night, and you're on your feet all day, pretty much. But the people that you meet, the other stewards, I've got some tremendous friends from the other stewards at Lord's, friends within the spectators. You get a lot of enjoyment. Yes, it's hard work. You get paid to watch the cricket as well. That was the main reason I went. Really, I wanted to watch the cricket. I'm not an MCC member. I missed out on that one. I didn't know how it all worked. I have to say, though, my two kids, my daughter, who's 23, and my son, who is 20, are both on the list for the MCC. They love cricket too, obviously. So, yeah, it's in the blood.
That's fantastic.
So just go and apply. Go and ask. You don't know until you've asked whether they want. And Lords every year are crying out for stewards. So, yeah.
No, that's amazing. And if you had one take home, I guess, from stewarding, what would it be?
Great friendships. I have to say, all round great friendships, and it builds the love of the game. There's lots of people there that haven't got a clue when they come to become stewards. They're just there for the money, and a lot of them get wrapped up in the game because it is a great game.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen, the Unassuming Steward.
Thank you very much.
As we do on our specials, we've got some quick fire questions for you. No pressure.
Okay. I'm ready.
Your favourite ground?
Lords.
Favourite player?
Oh, favourite player. I love Owen Morgan. He's a great guy as well because I've met him.
Yeah, go. Another joy of being a steward. Favourite umpire?
Dickie Bird, without a doubt. I've also met him too. Lovely, lovely guy. I a little story about Dickie Bird very, very quickly. They put up in the pavilion in the long room bar some caps, all the different caps from various countries and clubs or whatever. And one of them was Dickie Bird's cap. Well, he signed it, and he's got his name on there, Dickie Bird. And he was in the grandstand. Come out of the president's box, and I said to him, Dickie, have you seen your caps in the long room? Bear in mind what his age is. He was off like a shot. So yeah, lovely guy.
No, fantastic, and I remember him as well, which was great. You know, he's managed to bring umpire into many generations, hasn't he? Not just one, which is a truly great feat. Strangest ground you've ever played on?
Strangest ground. I probably say, actually, there's two. One is the HAC ground because that is right in the middle of the city. So it's quite bizarre. It's surrounded by, at one end, it's got the barracks as such, and the other three sides are all offices. It was weekend, so and I played there a few times, but no one's in the offices. But very, very strange place to play. And the other one that was really quite weird. I was on holiday, just on my own in Gibraltar. This is a long, long time ago, and I got chatting to a squaddy there who said they were playing cricket the following day, and it was in a stadium, but it was concrete track with a bit. But I played there, so that was strange. That was a weird one. So
just proving that cricket can be played just about anywhere, and it is, to be honest, in the world. Final question for your quickfire quiz. Your greatest achievement on the cricket field?
Greatest achievement? Shocking all the players for the Gentlemen of England when they'd all failed miserably with the bats. And I think it was 44. This was against the royal household.
Rescued the game.
Yeah, I got cheered off the ground. So yeah, I'd say that was probably one of my best achievements. Yeah.
Fantastic. And so, I mean, you know, it's been, thank you so much, Jeff. It's been wonderful speaking to you and hearing your stories and your journey through cricket. And I think it's a very special one in that, lots of people, again, would not always assume how much depth of cricket there is within those stewarding teams. And, I think you certainly highlighted today. I mean, my last question, and one that I'll always end our specials on, is what is the single most important value of cricket to you?
I think it is the friendships, the camaraderie within sides. I've only played pretty much friendly cricket rather than league cricket, although I do play for Middlesex Seniors now, which is league cricket. So I've never taken it seriously in that if you want to win, obviously that's a must. But when you do lose, you just go and have a pint and don't worry about it. And that's the best thing out of cricket for me.
Fantastic, Jeff. It's been a real.
And also, I have to add, my wife, who knew nothing about cricket when I met her, she's actually our club scorer. She loves the game. So thank you very much, Liz, for being behind me in all my cricketing time, which is great.
Fantastic. Jeff, it's been a real privilege, and thanks so much for your time.
Thank you so much too.
Cheers. Take care.